What's going on, guys? So here I have a 5th generation Ipod Classic. It's kind of having a plethora of problems. So the issue that the owner says that it's having is the aux port does not work, and it's having some problems in the charge port area. Now when I plug it into, okay, this is weird right here. So when I first got it, I messed with it a little bit. I powered it on and wanted to check, and confirm the issues that the owner is having. When I first booted it up, the first thing that I was greeted with was the iPod error screen that tells you to go to like iTunes.com/support or something along those lines, which means that there is a disconnect between the motherboard and the hard drive. And then the next screen that I would get, I reboot it, whatever, and the next screen that I would get would be like the restore screen that would tell like plug it into iTunes, restore to factory settings, and then sync music. So I rebooted it one more time, right about the time that I turned the camera on here, and now it fires up. That's just the weirdest thing to me. So let's check and see what we got. He said he was having charge port issues, so let's plug it into the charger real quick. Okay, so you can see the lightning symbol there. Sorry, it's kind of washed out. The lightning symbol there, indicating that it is charging. So let's throw on some music real quick and we'll see if the aux port issue is still a thing or what. He said he was having problems with any sound coming out of the iPod. Now, when there is zero sound at all coming out of the iPod, most of the time, I would say 9 times out of 10, that would be a motherboard problem. So normally when you have a headphone jack problem, either one side of the headphones doesn't work and the other side does. Very rarely does the whole thing just not deliver sound, and it's the aux port. So let's see, now that I actually have the thing on, let's see if it doesn't work or what the deal is. Okay. AC/DC, why not? Thunderstruck. Yeah, I got nothing. Absolutely nothing. No sound. Next, let's try to open this bad boy and see if we can figure out a culprit. Just get in here and release these clips. The 5th gen iPods are so much easier to get into than the 6th or 7th gen ones. I mean, it's just night and day difference for how simple it is. And I mean, look at that, already done. Okay. It's been a minute since I've uploaded any videos. I actually wasn't even going to do a video for this one. I just wanted to, get into it and get it done, but I figured it's been probably a couple weeks or so since I've uploaded. So I figured I should probably do it. I just have a fear that this content might just get a little bit too repetitive, but at the same time, if you guys are still watching it and you enjoy this content, then even if it is get a little bit repetitive and I'm doing the same repairs over and over again, I mean, as long as you guys are watching and enjoying yourselves, then I don't mind making the content for you. So, okay, as I say in every one of my other videos, once you get the casing open in the 5th, 6th, and 7th generations, you want to refuse temptation of opening this like a book, because that battery cable is running right here, and if you just open it like a book, you could end up tearing off the battery connector that goes to the motherboard right there, and you better have some good soldering skills to repair it, or you will have to replace the motherboard, and really either scenario, you're just going to have a bad day. Okay, so here we go, and to remove that battery cable, I just use my spudger to hold down on the battery clip itself, and then I use my tweezers to pull the battery out. Simple. Okay, well, not sure what the hell happened there, but I ended up losing a little bit of video footage. The next thing that I was going to do was I wanted to reseat this aux port cable and then test it. I mean, there's been once or twice, I think, in the 13, 14 years I've been doing this, where the aux cable itself actually did work its way out of the port. So I pulled that out, reseated it, put the battery back in, and tried it again, but same thing, no audio at all. So now the next thing that I'm going to do, I'll put this here so it doesn't put pressure on that cable. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to flip this guy up. I'm going to remove the aux port. the whole thing, and I'm actually going to get a different one, and we're just going to test and see if it's the headphone jack that's the issue or if it's the motherboard. Finagling the clip or the cable in there. Close the tab up. Okay. And I do know that this battery here has some juice in it. Actually, it doesn't matter. I'll just use this one. That's fine. Okay, so the next thing we want to do is raise this battery clip so we can accept the battery cable. There we go. Just got to get the battery cable in there. Good. And use our spudger and then close the clip by pressing down on it. Okay. I figured this thing has no juice. Let's plug it in and see what happens. And that's the first screen that I saw right there was that one. The need to restore with iTunes thing. So something's wonky, I think, with the hard drive. Actually, let's plug it back in real quick. I'm gonna go to the diagnostic screen real quick and see if this thing even pulls up the hard drive. Okay, so we're in the diagnostic menu. Sorry, I gotta do it on this weird angle so it's not washed out. So you wanna press menu for test, scroll down to I/O, down to hard drive, HD smart data. Whoa, I think I found the issue. That is over 1 million pending sectors. Yeah, this hard drive is toast. That might even be the whole problem. Okay, well then let's put a different hard drive in it and let's see what happens. Let's pull out our battery cable. You know what, and I guess this right here is why I should continue to make this content, because here I was thinking it was just going to be the same old thing, and this kind of surprises me. So aux port issue might be a hard drive problem. Who knows? Okay, so let's pull this guy out. And we did that by, try and get that to focus, by raising this black clip up here like that and then pulling it out. I'm gonna go grab a 80 gigabyte hard drive real quick. Okay, there's our replacement 80. So before we do that, let's open the battery clip and we'll put the hard drive in by sliding cable in here, and then we will close the black clip. Okay, good. Now we will put the battery back in. And close it with our spudger. Now let's plug it back in. Oops. So that battery was not in there all the way. It actually just popped out. Okay, we have life. It was only plugged in for a second though, so it might not have enough juice to actually power the full thing on. So, yep, I just got the low battery indicator right there. Okay, connect to iTunes. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to leave this guy plugged in for a little bit. It does need a little bit of juice to be able to restore. For some reason, the USB port on the computer does not provide enough juice to keep this thing on while it restores, so it does need a decent amount of battery. I mean, not like a decent amount, but I would say enough battery to keep it on for 10-15 minutes while it restores is what it really needs. So I'll let this thing charge for a little bit, and then I'll be back with you. Okay, so it's actually been a couple of days since I last touched this device. Or actually, not really touched it, but it's been a couple of days since I've been out here talking with you about it. So where I left off, I believe I was going to try to restore with iTunes, I think, or I was going to try it. I was having issues and I was going to swap hard drives. Hell, I don't remember. It's been so long. Thanksgiving was in there. I don't really quite remember where I left of the video, but what's going on now is I I could not get the iPod to restore. I checked the onboard diagnostics for the hard drive. It had over 1 million pending sectors, which the hard drive, that's junk. So I'm thinking there's multiple issues with this thing. There's obviously the hard drive is dying, and the aux port on the motherboard is not working as previously stated because we are not getting any sound. And actually, I already proved that the off screen, I proved that the aux port is not working and it is a motherboard issue. So what I went ahead and did was I actually, with the pending sectors, I thought, well, okay, maybe it's actually a hard drive issue. I tried 3 separate hard drives, all of which I know are working, and I could not get them to work. Then after that, I would get them in there, I would plug it into iTunes, and the computer, it wouldn't recognize it at all. So I ended up opening the iPod again, and I swapped out the ribbon cable. And from there, I actually ended up, the computer recognized it, I was able to hook it up with iTunes, and I was able to sync music. So then when I got the iPod back, I had music on it, tried the headphone jack again with a different aux port, and same issue, no sound whatsoever. So I'm thinking, like I said before, we got multiple issues going on. We have hard drive issues and we have motherboard issues. So this is the next thing we're going to try. I have a replacement motherboard. We're going to swap out motherboards and see what happens. So I got to retake this thing apart. Case is already open. Use your spudger, hold down the battery clip. Don't open it like a book. You could rip the battery connector off the motherboard and you're going to be pissed. Release the black clip there, pull the hard drive out. Release the clip there, pull the aux cable out, get your screwdriver. There are 3 screws, one there, there, and there on each side of the iPod, so let's take those out. Okay, all screws are out. Next thing you want to do is undo the LCD. You can stick a tool down there and pry that up, or you can use your nails. And now, set this face down, and we are going to push down on the click wheel and pull up on the front case, like so. Take the LCD out, set it aside. And these 5th gens have a little bit of like electrical tape or some type of tape holding something to the frame of the motherboard. I don't know if it's some type of a ground or what the deal is. Okay, now you can take your thumbs and pry out on the motherboard. Okay. Now we just need to move the click wheel over. So lift up on the tab there. Pull out the click wheel. Okay, and put the click wheel in the new motherboard. Push down on the tab. Actually, I stole the LCD cable, not the LCD cable, I'm sorry, the ribbon cable for the hard drive from this one, so I'm actually just going to put it back in real quick. There's that. Now we can put it back in the frame. There we go, and then Fold the tape stuff back over. Okay, now we can put the LCD back in. Okay, now we take the click wheel button, put that back in there, line up the tabs so it sits flush, and set it inside the front case. Roll it all over like that, fold it back in. See, our sides look okay. So, we're going to put the LCD cable back in. Good. Now right here, you want to be very careful. I've broken many of these LCD cables trying to put them back down. You got to kind of finesse them down very gently. You kind of want to come at it from both sides, because if you go from one side, or even if you go from the middle, you put pressure on the opposite sides, which can actually snap the cable. And if you snap the cable, it's going to render the port useless. And that's no good. Okay. Buttons all feel good. That's nice. The rest of the screws in there. So now let's do the aux port of the test headphone jack. Honestly, because this one has the most battery power in it. On this case right here. Okay, that is in. Now he's going to close the flapper guy. Next thing we want to do is raise up the battery clip. Use your spudger to hold down the battery, and then use a paper clip to release the clip. And then next thing, put in the hard drive. Oh, come on. There we go. Close the clip. Throw it over like that. Okay, now get the battery cable into the battery clip. Okay, we're in, and then push down on the battery clip. Okay, buttons work, that's a good sign. That's a bad sign. You know what, I'm gonna put it, sorry, it shows the folder thing. So you know what, I'm gonna plug it into iTunes anyway, my computer anyway, and I'm just gonna see if maybe if it pops up on my computer, if I can reformat the drive and try it from there. I actually did that once on an iPod 4th gen. Like, I got the same error on an iPod 4th gen, and I thought it was a problem with the hard drive, but turned out the hard drive and the motherboard weren't recognizing each other because they're obviously from different builds, and I ended up reformatting the hard drive, and that resolved my problem. So since this is the 5th generation, only one generation later, maybe it's set up the same. Normally, I don't really see that folder one, but you know what, why not? Let's give it a shot and see what happens. So I will plug it into the computer real quick, and I will get back to you and let you know what happens. Okay, so I was able to restore the iPod to factory settings and sync music and listen to music, all that good stuff, yada yada, blah, 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 blah. All is good working on it. So I contacted the customer, and I gave them a price on what it would take to replace the motherboard and the hard drive. And honestly, I mean, really, unless this specific iPod had some type of sentimental value, the cost, it didn't make sense. Even to me. So I told them what it would cost to buy it, or not, but what it would cost for me to, get the new hard drive, new motherboard, the labor for the repairs. And honestly, it was pretty much double the price of what he could go and just buy a used iPod on eBay for. And I said that in the email, like, it's going to cost this, but honestly, it would be more cost effective for you to buy an iPod used from eBay. I mean, I don't know, you know, obviously I'm here to make money and things like that, but I can't do that to somebody. I can't justify them spending double on something just for me to fix something broken when they can just buy something used. So he said, yeah, that doesn't make sense either. And he told me just to keep the iPod and recycle it. So one thing that I am not good at, and I've been dabbling in a little bit here and there, is soldering. I am not a soldering guy at all. Now that I have this board, I mean, maybe this would be the perfect board to practice on. You know, I mean, the charge port and where'd you go? And the aux port right here. I mean, maybe it would be a good opportunity for me to try that out, see what I can do, and then if I can't do it, then well, that's how you learn. So that's kind of an unfortunate ending. I mean, in a sense, we fixed it by switching all of the two main components, the motherboard and the hard drive. But I mean, I guess we did fix it, but I don't know. It feels unresolved. It feels unfinished. So, but I guess, you know, you can't get them all. So, all right, that is about it. I will catch you guys later. Everybody have a wonderful day.